Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is Joe Nicasio, your business advisor. And today we're going to go into prerequisites for growth and authentic manifestation. This is part two. So, just a quick recap, from what we covered before. Life is simple if you show up, if you pay attention, if you tell the truth without blame or judgment, and if you're actually open to getting your outcomes rather than being attached to the outcomes. To begin the process of personal growth, we need to engage our self observer and delete the need to understand, to make no comparisons and release all judgment. So, again, this is a recap. If you want to grow, if you want to truly manifest in the most authentic ways possible, you need to maintain a viewpoint of accountability. And that means that you're willing to maintain the point of view, whether or not it is yet your experience, that you are the cause, you are part, you are the agent, you're the source of your experience and everything around you. You are the creator of what's happening in your life, whether you like it or not. And once you quit blaming and take ownership of this point of view, it's not necessarily the truth, it's a point of view where you can grow, and it's a point of view where you can manifest. Once you do this and you stop blaming and you take responsibility, you can grow and manifest actually pretty quick. So, we talked about this last time. You can't grow if you're gonna make fear choices instead of growth choices. You can choose to grow, or you can choose to not grow by giving into the fear. And so, if you want to grow, if you want to manifest, it means taking action in the presence of fear. The fear is normal. But instead of being disabled by the fear, you want to be enabled into action. And again, if we make the growth choice, we're going to grow. If we make the fear choice, we're not going to grow. If we make the growth choice, we're going to manifest. And if we make the fear choice, we're not going to manifest. This stuff, shuts things up, opens things up, and shuts things down. And so, fear, when fear shuts you down, you become kind of useless as a human being. Personal growth requires the surrender. So this is new material. This is part two. If you want to grow, you got to surrender and transcend addictions, laziness, and reactive behavior. You need to, surrender, let go of the addictions, and transcend, rise above them. You need to surrender the laziness, become action oriented, and transcend, rise above the laziness. We all have laziness. We need to rise above that part of ourselves and become a bigger person. That's how we're going to grow. And we need to surrender reactive behavior and rise above it, transcend it. So, it's human to react. We hear something, it triggers us. We get triggered by our trauma. Most of my trauma was caused by drama from my mama. Um, so, we all have reactive behavior, but we need to surrender that, let go, and rise above it. So what does this really mean? It means we can't be controlled by our emotions. We need to face our emotions. We can't avoid them. This living your life like an ostrich and burying your head in the sand will stop you from growing. So if you have addictions, we need to surrender them and rise above them. If you have laziness, you need to surrender that and rise above it. If you're reactive instead of responsive, you need to let go of that and rise above that. Face your emotions rather than avoid them. So if you want to grow, it also requires a relentless commitment to seeking and telling the truth about reality. Personal growth requires the surrender of denial. You can't deny reality. Okay, if you want to grow, you can't deny reality. Okay, growth requires a relentless commitment to the truth about reality. And if you're not committed to the truth, you're not going to grow. If you want to manifest great things in your life, you need to be committed to the truth about reality of how to manifest. If you're not committed to the truth about reality, guess what? You're not going to grow and you're not going to manifest. So personal growth requires you face the truth about where I am and what I'm doing in my life right now. The coach's coach, Dan Sullivan, says, all progress begins by telling the truth about reality. And, it's good to be a dreamer, and it's going to be have visions and all that. But, there you action is better than dreaming, as my friend David Fagan says. And if you wanna grow, you need to defer. You need to defer immediate gratification. We have an opportunity to grow every day. We have an opportunity to manifest every day, and yet we get distracted by bright, shiny objects. We have this need for immediate gratification, and so often it derails us from true growth, and it derails us from authentically manifesting. Okay, now we're going to get into some advanced stuff. This is some advanced stuff, but it's really required for growth, and it's required for manifestation. So the truth self is revealed in the stopping of the mind. Your mind causes troubles. When you face your emotions, they become allies. Dive into them, and the delusions will dissolve. In the silence. When you stop and meditate, when you stop your mind and just be with existence, be with reality, you're going to grow and manifest better. There's a reason silence mirrors back the neurotic conditions of the false self created by fixation in the attachment of form. The gift of silence is that it reveals who you are not. Silence reveals the veiling of pure consciousness through the actions of ego. Our ego, we're so identified with our ego, and living in our ego, that we kind of get disconnected from who we really are. And when we get silence, we can be connected to our pure consciousness. It's all that inner psychobabble that actually stops us from connected to the true consciousness. So advanced stuff here. Self-realization, being aware of yourself, being real about yourself, requires mastering the observer state of consciousness. This is a focused state where one identifies with the silent inner true self. See, the true self is revealed in silence. When we're silent, we can connect with the divine. When we're silent, we disconnect from all the stories about the ego and the rational mind. There's what's happening to us and all the stories about what happens to us. From the silent state, there is no rational action required. You are the observer, what is observed, and the process of observation. The silent observer simply views inner and outer sensations and judgments and thoughts, breath and behavior without ascribing meaning to what is seen. Okay, so the silent observer is like the film in a camera. We used to have film in cameras. It objectively records what is seen without comment. See, if you want to grow, you got to see things as they are instead of seeing things with all the psychobabble commentary. The silent self-observer is like the film in the camera. It objectively records what is seen without comment. It becomes apparent that no matter what is seen in the world, it is first projected onto the outer landscape from within. There is a connection between our inner perceptions and the outer world. So you have a thought. Your mind projects that thought onto the outer world. You then experience a perception of this thought projection. This is how thoughts create reality and become self-fulfilling prophecies. Self-observation allows you to face what is seen and penetrate the projection. As if by magic, the act of observation results in disillusion of the projection. So the true observation magically gets rid of the illusion and creates more connection. One's true nature is seen to be independent from one's thoughts. So there's your nature, and then there's your thoughts about your nature, and they're two separate things. They're independent. Our true nature, our true source, our true power is in the silence. We can see it, we can observe it, we can discover it. In the silence, we actually get more connected to our true nature. In the silence, we get connected to our source. In the silence, we connected to our true power. And finally, if you want to grow, if you want to manifest, it's going to really require your participation in the support of others of like mind. It requires the cultivation of honest and sincere relationships in community. If you want to grow, it's going to be dependent on who you're chilling with, who you spending time with. If you're around other people growing, if you're around other people who are honest, if you're around other people who are sincere, if you're in a community that supports you, you're going to grow. If you're in an environment that's toxic, if you're in an environment that's lies, if it's dishonest, if you're in a if you're in an environment of insincere relationships, if you're not in the right community, if you're not in a community that's pulling you up, you're in a community that's pulling you down. So if you want to grow, you want to participate with other people that also want to grow. So look, you cannot grow. You cannot grow until there are prerequisites for growth. So let me just do a quick recap. Life's pretty simple. If you show up, you pay attention, you tell the truth without blame or judgment, and you're open to creating outcomes rather than being attached to the way those outcomes are supposed to manifest. If you want to have personal growth, you need to engage your self-observer. You need to be self-aware, and you need to get rid of this need to understand, how the seed grows. You just plant the seed and it grows. You don't have to understand it. You're going to grow if you're not comparing yourself to others. You're not going to grow if you are having judgment. So let go of your need to understand. Let go of your need to compare yourself to others. Let go of the judgment. Just be with it. And then realize that, there's a viewpoint of accountability. If you want to grow, just realize that you're a part of everything, and that you're a cause of everything, and you're an agent of everything, and you're a source of everything. And, quit blaming and take responsibility, and you can actually manifest pretty quick. And if you want to grow, you got to live courageously and, in the presence of fear. Don't let fear disable you. You got to make the growth choice, not the fear choice. The fear choice gets you in trouble every single time, and really stunts your growth. Personal growth requires, letting go of the addictions and the laziness and the reactive behavior. This means facing your emotions rather than avoiding them. And if you want to grow, you need to be committed to the truth about reality, telling the truth. Surrender, denial of reality. Denial of reality is just as bad as not being committed to the truth about reality. So it requires that you face the truth with, here's where I am and here's what I'm doing in your life. Stop burying your head in the sand and being like an ostrich. And personal growth requires the willingness to defer immediate gratification. You're not going to grow if you keep getting distracted by those bright, shiny objects. And, if you want to grow, it's going to happen. The true self is revealed in the stopping of the mind, the false stories of the mind. When you face your emotions, they become allies. Dive into your emotions and dissolve the delusions beneath the infinite silence. In the infinite silence, you can really connect with the truth. Silence mirrors back the neurotic condition of false self, created by fixation and the attachment to form. The gift of silence is that it reveals who you are not. We don't want to be connected to who we are not. We want to know who we are, and in the silence we discover that. Silence reveals the veiling of pure consciousness through actions of ego identification. Self-realization requires mastering the observer state of consciousness. This is a focused state where one identifies the silent inner true self, the divine, rather than the stories of the ego and the rational mind that are preventing you from your divinity. From this silent state, there's no right rational action required. You are the observer. You are what is observed, and you are the process of observation. The silent observer simply views inner and outer sensations. So the observer connects the inner world to the outer world. So the silent observer views inner and outer sensations, senses, judgments, thoughts, breath, and behavior without ascribing meaning to what's seen. The silent self-observer is like the film in a camera. It objectively records what is seen without comment or commentary. It becomes apparent with no matter what is seen in the world, it is first projected onto the outer landscape from within. your perceptions internally are stuff that you're actually putting out there. It's connected. You have a thought. Your mind projects that thought onto the outer world. You then experience a perception of this thought projection. This is how thoughts create reality and become self-fulfilling prophecies. Self-observation allows you to face what is seen, penetrate the projection. As if by magic, the act of observation results in the dissolution of the projection. One's true self nature, one true nature is seen through is independent from your thoughts. Your nature is one thing, your thoughts are a different. They are independent. One Our true nature, source, and power is in the silence. So, and then finally, if you want to grow, it requires that you're surrounded by others committed to the growth process. It requires the cultivation of honest, sincere relationships and community. It's not going to come through the people that are not committed to growing. It's going to come through being around people who are committed to growing. All right. We've talked today about the prerequisites of growth and authentic manifestation. I'm here to help you build a better business. This is Joe. I'm your business coach. If you want the help, the help's available. Reach out. God bless you.